To draw a half circle in isometric, we're going to have a look at this front view and top view given in third angle orthographic, and we're going to use these two views to go and complete a half circle attached to a small solid in isometric. Now to start, we've already drawn out the solid, and once your solid has been drawn out, you then need to go and determine where the center point of your half circle is going to be. This half circle has a diameter of 50 millimeters. So I'm going to go and mark off the center point of that half circle. And then once you have that point, you're going to go and draw construction lines right through that point. Construction line there, and then another construction line there. Now, the reason why the center point of your circle is important is because when you're drawing half of a circle in isometric, you still have to complete the full construction for a circle. So you can't just do half the construction for an isometric circle, you have to complete the full one. And the easiest way to make sure that you are placing that construction in the correct place is to start with the center point of your circle. So we know that the center point of our circle here has got to be in line with the edges of our solid. So we found that center point, and now we'll construct our isometric square, which we normally use to go and construct an isometric circle, and we'll construct it around our center point. So because we've got a isometric circle with a diameter of 50 millimeters, we're going to draw a square in isometric which has got sides of 50 millimeters, and of course that also means that our center lines will be 50 millimeters in length. So we're going to mark off 25 millimeters from the center point up and 25 millimeters from the center point down, and then we'll do the same thing here. Of course our 25 millimeters is half of our diameter, and we've already got those 2 points there and there, and we're going to then go and draw another set of construction lines, one off of that point which was 25 millimeters from the center point down, and then one off of this point which was also 25 millimeters from the center point. And then we're just going to darken the construction line here and one on the side, and now you'll see we have the square that we're going to need for this construction. And another mistake that's often made is that you normally go and use the part of the solid as the square, and if you have a look here you'll see that obviously this solid is slightly longer than the square that we need. So if we had to go and take point A over there and that point there as being one of the baselines of our square, we would be completely wrong. So that center point and correctly measuring off of that center point to get the square is extremely important in the start of this construction. Once we've got that square, we then go through our normal steps for constructing an isometric circle. We'll go from one of the obtuse corners of our square, and we'll join a line through to the center point on the opposite side, and then again from that same obtuse corner we'll join another line to the other center point of a line opposite it, and then we'll go and join the two acute angles of our square, which then gives us our construction. We take our compass, place the compass on the point where we have an intersection between our line drawn from the acute angle of our square and the line drawn from the obtuse angle through to the opposite center point, and then we go and draw an arc from that point, and then we place our compass on the obtuse corner opposite the other arc that we need, Open up our compass to the other end and draw in that arc. And of course, there we have a half a circle. We don't have to complete the other two arcs, which would normally complete our isometric circle, as they're not needed. And then with this isometric circle, we've got depth. We've got a depth of 50 millimeters there. That's what's got to come in over here at the back of this circle. Now, the easiest way to go and do this is to, of course, again start off with the square that you're going to need. But we're not going to draw the entire square. We are simply going to draw part of the square. So we're going to extend that line up. We're also then going to just draw in, I'm going to draw in this line which would join the two squares. And we're going to draw this line which would also join them. And then complete the top end of that square with that line. Now I'm not going to draw any more of that square because it's not necessary at this point. And if you start the entire construction of an isometric circle behind this circle, it's going to get pretty confusing. So instead of going through all of that, I'm simply going to take the 2 points that I put my compass on to draw my two arcs. I'm going to mark them so that you can see them clearly. It's of course that point there, which I'll mark with a B, and then this point over here, which I'll mark with a C. Now those 2 points, we're simply going to go and take those 2 points and we're going to project them backwards at a 30-degree angle. That one and this one. And we're going to mark another point on each of those lines, the distance back that we would have from this point here to there. So we said that it had a depth of 15 millimeters. So we're going to take a point from point C over there, 15 millimeters back on that line. We'll measure it, mark off at 15 millimeters. I'm going to make a mark there, nice and clear, and then another one from point B. And that has now pushed the 2 points that we placed our compass on to get our two circles 15 millimeters back. So there was where I placed my compass to get my circle from point C, and now I'm simply going to move that on to the new point which I've now marked off, and I'm going to use that point to now go and draw the back arc of that circle. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the point that I used for point B. Let's get our compass back to the right size. Okay, and now that is where I placed my compass for point B for that small arc. I'm now going to simply move that along that 30-degree line to my point 15 millimeters back, and I'll use that point to go and draw the other part of my arc. Now you've got to be very careful. Once that arc's drawn, you can see there that it dips inwards, and we can't go and draw the arc all the way around, because if you did, it would look something like this, which of course is not correct. What we're going to do now is once we've gotten to that point, we're going to go and take our 30-degree set square. We're going to push it along all the way until the two edges of those arcs meet, and we're going to draw a dark line there, which then correctly ends off our circles. And we then have to, with an eraser, go and remove that last little piece of circle, and there we have our half circle with the depth.